If you're interested in sampling some of the classic cocktails on offer at Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar in Disneyland, but aren't able to make the trek, well, have no fear, because today we're bringing those cocktails to you. Welcome to Cocktail Limelight. I'm your host, Eric Castro, and today I'm hanging out with Kelly Merrill, the lead bartender at Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar in Anaheim. Brother, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks for having me over.
All right, man, I'm really psyched to have you on because you know what? I'm a massive fan of the cocktails that you make at the Enchanted Tiki Bar. I love the atmosphere. I love the service. You know what? I just love being in that Disney microcosm.
I love it too. I go almost every day. It's awesome.
See, but the thing is, what's not fair is you get paid to go.
True.
Me, I'm the opposite. I end up going and I leave poorer than when I went in.
You're
At
welcome.
least financially,
Yes.
but richer in experience. All right, so brother, so I understand that today we're not gonna be making any of the cocktails off your menu. Instead,
Correct.
we're gonna be making some bona fide, tried and true, classic tiki cocktails.
That's right. Over the years at Trader Sam's, we've developed the reputation for being able to make a lot of the classic cocktails, especially classic tiki cocktails, that you're not going to find on the menu. But catch us in the right mood, we'll make you just about anything you want, including some of these I want to talk about today, which I feel like are some underutilized tiki classics.
Okay, I love it, man. I love it. So these are essentially what you think are kind of underrated tiki classics.
Yeah, underrated and just not seen as often, I think. I think they deserve a little bit more exposure.
But before we get into those cocktails and before we have you demo them for us, first I want to ask you, how did you end up working at the Enchanted Tiki Bar?
Just dumb luck. I just kind of woke up there one day and there I was. It's what it felt like. I'd actually been working at the Disneyland Resort since 1995, really, for a long, long time. It's just my college job, which still is around. And then sometime later, I learned that a tiki bar was being built at the hotel I already worked. So I, for a good year or so, really plugged myself to be on that team, to be on that team, to be on that team. So I became the lead bartender. And then when they told me to go back into management, I was like, I'm good. I think I'm gonna stay.
I can't blame you for that.
I'm gonna
brother.
stay the lead bartender. The interaction with people, the ability to actually be behind the bar and make all these drinks and learn new things is what I like the most. So I honestly, when I say it was my dumb luck, it was my dumb luck.
And I'm gonna ask you another question. What do you think it is about that bar that's so special that makes such an impression with people?
I think that it's a lot of things. Obviously, Disney magic. I
Gotta
know.
be that Disney
I've
magic,
worked there
baby.
for almost 30 years, and it still sounds silly to say that, but it's true. I think that we're a real bar. We're a neighborhood bar to a lot of people, a lot of locals. Most of our business is locals coming by for a drink after work or coming in, in the middle of the day on their day off or whatnot. It's not just we're a Disney place and then they also have drinks. We're a legitimate place.
Okay. All right, you were talking about the drinks and why people seem to be so happy with them when they get to sip on one, when they get to enjoy one. Now, what's the first one that we're gonna be having?
The first one we're gonna be doing today is called a QB Cooler. QB Cooler is an old Don the Beachcomber drink. QB Cooler actually stands for Quiet Birdmen. It was an old aviation club started just right around World War I. Don the Beachcomber worked in the Army Air Corps during World War II. And he was a big fan of the pilots and of aviation. So he created this drink and then named it after them kind of in honor of them. So there you go.
All right, brother, let's have one,
All
man.
right, so this is actually one of my favorite drinks because it's not overly strong, it's not overly sweet, it's got just enough kind of a richness to it that I really like. We are going to start with 1/4 ounce of ginger syrup.
And all of you out there, ginger syrup is super easy to make. All you have to do is run some ginger through an extractor and then cut it with some sugar and you're good to go.
I always encourage home bartenders to make as many syrups as they can by hand. It's fulfilling and it will almost always taste better. And now we're also going to do a 1/4 ounce of Falernum. You can use this Velvet Falernum or a syrup, non-alcoholic syrup form of Falernum. It works just fine. And we're also going to do a 1/2 ounce of honey syrup. Now we're also going to do a 1/2 ounce of lime juice, as well as 1 ounce of orange juice. Now we get to the good stuff, we get to the rum. So we're gonna use 3 different types of rum. The first type of rum is going to be a Jamaican style rum, which is going to be a Jamaican rum. We're gonna use Appleton, and that's going to be 1 ounce. Now we are going to use a lightly aged rum. Go with this plantation here, that is also 1 ounce. And we are also going to use a 1/2 ounce of a Demerera Rum, 86 proof, Hamilton.
That's some tasty stuff, my friend.
Yes, it is. And we're gonna do 2 dashes of Angostura Bitters. And we're gonna put an ounce of soda water in it before we blend the drink. Just gives it a little bit of body to it.
You got it.
Through movie magic.
Yeah.
Got our ice, and like many of the classic recipes, tiki recipes especially, it specifically calls for the amount of ice. And this one calls for 8 ounces of ice, which is a very common amount. We're gonna add our ice. We're gonna use our old school spindle blender, which is very common. Ooh. You can also use a regular blender, or you can just shake it really hard.
Huh?
So these are extremely convenient to have, and yours, by the way, is lovely and beautiful.
Shoot, can I tell you, man?
Yes, please.
15 bucks at a yard sale.
Wow, very convenient to have. You can use a regular blender if you want, just real quick. You can shake it really hard if you want to, but it's obviously much easier.
You know, it's easier on the elbows too, brother.
So from here, we're gonna roll it right into our glass, and we're gonna top it off with crushed ice. We'll garnish with a mint sprig. The cherry on here. And you're good to go. The QB cooler.
All right, man, I'm impressed. I like how precise you were about everything, you know, down to the ice. And I like how you added the club soda before you put it in the blender. I thought that was really interesting. And you know what? Now I'm gonna give this cocktail a try, brother.
Do it.
Brother, for a split second, I felt like I was at Trader Sam's right now. You know what I mean, brother? The cocktail is transformative.
What I love about this
Bro,
drink
it's
is
absolutely delicious, my friend.
The ginger and the honey come through without being overpowering. It almost tastes like a creamsicle in a bit of a way, with the orange juice being the main acid in there, which is not overly acidic. It's almost like a sweet acid.
It's a perfect example of how important it is to have fresh OJ. You know, this ain't getting by if you're like, you know, trying to use some Tropicana or some like, you know, Sunny D. You got to be just like us and be fresh squeezed. All right, brother, that first cocktail that you made, you know, the QB cooler, hit the spot, delicious cocktail, you know what? And it's also easy to make for a lot of folks at home. So tell me about the second cocktail you're making.
Very tart, very anise forward, which kind of turns off a lot of people. And it's got plenty of rum in it as well.
Okay.
This is one of the very few classic tiki cocktails that the origins of the name anyway, actually is from Polynesia. Whoa. Where most of our classic tiki cocktails, they all have Caribbean influence. It's a drink that is named after an actual person named Dr. Bernard Funk. He would prescribe absinthe or anise-style tinctures to a lot of his patients as medicine, as a lot of people did back then. And so he kind of got the reputation for mixing some of these more tropical juices or fruits in with his anise medicine in order to make it easier to go down or whatnot. And so it has nothing to do with the funky rum that we like to use in it. That's just the most wonderful coincidence ever. Because I believe that you need a funky Jamaican rum for this drink, and it just makes it sing. So let's make one.
Let's make one.
All right. Let's start with lime juice. We're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce. Now we are going to do lemon juice. which is going to be half an ounce. When you pour really slowly, because you don't want to spill on camera and look like an idiot. All right, and then we're going to do some grenadine. Grenadine, we're going to have 1/4 of an ounce. We're also going to do some simple syrup, half ounce of simple syrup. And then we're also going to use some absinthe, or Pernod, or Absinthe, or whatever. And we're going to do 1/4 of an ounce, which is, as you know, is pretty hefty.
Potent.
Pretty hefty.
It's not a rinse and it's not 2 dashes. It's a full 1/4 ounce
It's
of
a
absinthe.
1/4 of an ounce. There we go.
When you consider the ABV on that, that's a potent little kick you're getting from that.
All right, and just like with our QB cooler, we're also going to do some soda water before the blend. We're going to do 1 ounce. And now we're going to do the good stuff. 2 different types of rum. We're going to do a Jamaican Pot Still Rum, and we're also going to do a Demerera Rum. The classic recipe has a little bit lower rum in it. Sorry. So we're going to do 1.5 ounces of Pot Still Rum. And we're going to do 1 ounce of Demerera.
I'm loving it, brother. I'm loving it.
You can smell the funk coming out there already. All right, now some crushed ice. I personally feel like it's okay to over dilute this one just a little bit because of the strong flavor.
There's a lot of booze in there. I believe it.
All right, let's give that 8 to 10 seconds. All right, now we're gonna roll that over into our hurricane glass. We're gonna top this off with some crushed ice. You can hum or whistle or whatever while I do this.
All right, for the garnish, what you gonna hit us with, brother?
Garnish, I mean, honestly, against tiki norms, I don't over garnish my drinks because I like the drinks to be the drinks. In this age we live in, everyone wants to take a picture of their drink. You got to make it look pretty, but I don't want it to completely lose focus of everything. Let's throw a pineapple frond in there. We'll go with a lime wheel. And right next to it, to complement the lemon and lime that were both in our drink, we'll throw a lemon half wheel on there.
All right,
the
brother.
Dr. Funk.
Let's give us a try. You know what? Based off the amount of alcohol that I saw you put in here, I expect this to have a much more pronounced burn. But it's actually, it's an elegant sipper, man. You can't really tell how much kick there is in this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hiding it. But at the same time, if you balance...
It's not as aggressive as you would think. You know what it is? Yeah. In a way, I never thought I would say this, but I almost feel like the anise and the absinthe kind of just cools the palate. Almost like a mentholated effect.
Well, yeah.
And you don't really notice how much booze is in here.
Well, if you think about it, you have 1.5 ounces of citrus between the lime and the lemon. And then you've got the real tartness from the grenadine in there, plus 1/4 ounce of absinthe. I mean, that's a lot of things that is, I wouldn't say masking the booze, but complementing it to balance it.
All right, brother, you've set the bar pretty high. These first 2, you pretty much knocked it out of the park. So I understand you have a 3rd cocktail for us to try?
I do have a 3rd cocktail.
What is it, man? Let's try one.
It's the weirdest one so far that we're gonna make today. It's a drink, one of those where you look at the recipes and you go, that can't be right. And you make it and it just works for some reason. So, the Tortuga. All right, we're gonna start our build with a little bit of grenadine.
And how much?
1/4 ounce of grenadine.
1/4 ounce, I love it.
And we're going to do 1/2 ounce of that delicious orange juice. We're also going to do 1/2 ounce of lime juice. And lemon juice, 1/2 ounce. I always like drinks that may have a lot of ingredients, but at least they're all the same, so you don't have to worry about it too much. All right, now it gets a little bit weird. We're going to do 1/2 ounce of orange curacao, which in and of itself is not too weird. So we're also going to do 1/2 ounce of white creme de cacao. And now we're going to keep getting weirder. We're going to do 1 whole ounce of sweet vermouth. And now we're also going to do 1 ounce of Navy Strength. We're going to use some OFTD. And 1 ounce of 151. We're getting a little boozy here. Getting a little boozy. So now we're gonna shake with crushed ice. We're gonna use About 10 ounces of crushed ice. Let me get that to 10. Perfect. Now we're gonna give that a shake. All right.
And then what kind of glass do you want for this?
I like an oversized Collins or even like a Pilsner glass. Oh, hey, look at this. Pilsner glass. All right. And like we do with all of our drinks, we're gonna top off with crushed ice. And now, we'll put together a little bit of a garnish. Have a little bit of a lime wheel, a little maraschino cherry under there, a little umbrella shaded, sitting on the beach at Tortuga shading himself. And you have a very tart and unusual Tortuga, a Trader Vic's classic.
All right, brother.
That's a
I'm really
giant
intrigued
drink.
by this cocktail. I'm really intrigued by this cocktail. That, especially the way you're making it, I really think that the cacao and the vermouth are going to interplay in a really interesting way. So that's actually what I'm gravitating towards, and that's the flavor combination that I'm most intrigued by. And I'm not going to lie, I think the 151, a full ounce of it, that's a little intriguing as well.
2 ounces of overproof rum.
It doesn't taste as hot as you would expect.
Nope.
You know what it is? I think it's like the body, the viscosity that you get from the sweet vermouth really kind of tones everything down. All right, brother, thank you so much. I just want to say, thank you on behalf of not just me, but also all of our viewers out there, because you hit us with 3 really good, 3 delicious, on-point, bona fide tiki classics, 3 drinks that I feel represent the tiki arena as a whole. Now, brother, I wanted to ask you, one thing I've noticed is I've had some friends out there who, there's this misconception, I've recommended your bar before, and they think that they have to buy a ticket. They're like, oh no, but we don't want to buy a ticket to the park. And I'm like, no. It's on the greater Disney property, but you actually don't need to go through the gates. You don't need to buy a ticket to come in.
Absolutely.
How does somebody get in to see you?
You park at the Disneyland Hotel and you walk in and you see me. We're located at the Disneyland Hotel. You don't need a ticket to go to the park, and you don't even need reservations. If it says there's no reservations, just show up anyway, put your name on the list, you wait a little bit, maybe have a drink while you wait, and then we'll get you sat down. You can even specifically request, I want to sit at the bar. Or you can request, I want to sit outside to watch the band. We have nightly music.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We do.
Is that newer?
No, it's since day one.
Are you serious?
From 6 to 10 every day, we've got musicians that play on the patio. Yeah.
That's great to know. That's great to know. Brother, okay, one more time, I want to say thank you so much on behalf of all of our viewers for sharing with us your years of expertise. All right, all of you out there, we went over 3 amazing tiki cocktails. Are there any tiki cocktails out there that you would like us to feature on a future episode? If so, leave in the comments below, and who knows, maybe it'll be featured in a future episode. And with that said, don't forget to muddle that like and subscribe button, and if you'd like to dive deeper into the world of craft cocktails, be sure to check out the Bartender Large podcast, which I host on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere else that quality podcasts are found. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you again next week.